Hi Eunice, thank you very much for sending me your presentation. I just listened to it. It was very good. It was the same presentation that we heard in class. Um, if I'm not mistaken, you started off by disagreeing with the statement or with the sentence. So initially you said, I disagree with the sentence at the very beginning, so the listener knows what you're saying, and to a great extent the listener can then predict your presentation. So you've made the job of the listener very easy by saying at the very beginning with you whether you agree or disagree, which is very good. But there was no introduction, and which is just one sentence really. I'm going to talk about whether living in a flat is better than a house or a house is better than a flat. It's just one sentence, and I didn't hear an outline. So there was no breakdown of what specific points you're going to be talking about in the presentation. That would help. The reason for that outline is so there is a flow, and so the presentation is fluid. And because there wasn't an outline, I saw the pattern of your presentation was that first you started on with the negatives, and then you moved to the positives. There was a slight pause, and then you moved back to the negatives again. So there was a bit of jumping around. And I think that's because there was no outline to point you in the right direction. That's why that 1 minute planning is so essential, and it's so important. You did a very, very good thing of introducing the very first paragraph when you started, the second paragraph when you started talking about the positives. You actually said, now the positive aspects, so the listener again knows to a certain extent what to expect. You talked about cost, you talked about sharing living space, which are very valid. Then, like I said, there was a pause, and maybe that's because you were still trying to think of what to say. Having a pause in the presentation is absolutely fine. It's quite normal. First of all, it can't be too long, and yours wasn't. But again, having that outline, having that plan will help you a lot. So we had the negative, then we had the positive, then we moved on to the negative again. You said more privacy, I think you said. This is something that you corrected yourself in class, so more privacy is what we're talking about. And then you talked about space again as a positive, and you had already mentioned sharing space in the first paragraph, if you remember, of positives, so we don't need to mention it again. And again, that goes back to the outline. If we have the outline, then there's no reason to repeat. So all in all, you mentioned positives and you mentioned negatives about living in a house or a flat, which is better. At the very end of your presentation, you said, so, in my opinion, and this so, it meant as your conclusion, which is very good, very valid. But for the purpose of the exam, if you would kindly make sure that you mention the word conclusion, that you mention the word to sum up. Okay, you can use so, but please try and mention the word conclusion or sum up, just so that there's no confusion and the examiner knows, yes, this is Eunice's conclusion now, so there's no confusion. And also, you are signaling to your partner to start getting ready to ask you questions. This is all about signals, isn't it? All in all, it was very good, yes. The fact that you introduced your disagreement at the very beginning of the presentation was very good. Okay, I hope this form of feedback has been beneficial to you. Please feel free to drop me an email just to let me know how you think of this form of feedback. Okay, thank you very much. Take care.